Alright, you guys, welcome back. We're about to build Mario Build 4 here. So in the last tutorial we added falling, jumping, ducking. In this tutorial what we want to do is we want to eliminate Mario's ability to run up and over these hills and then these little bushes. So that is because our define up block says to repeat until not touching black or brown. So notice this bush is outlined in black and that little hill is outlined in black. That's why he interacts with that. So what we need to do is we need to figure out a way so that he doesn't interact with those black colors there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an interactive background. So we have our screen 0, screen 1, 2, 3, all the way to screen 10. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make a duplicate of each screen, but we're going to go one at a time, because we're going to make the duplicate screen be the interactive screen. And then we're going to change the define up block, and we're also going to change this if touching color black and brown. We're going to get a little bit more defined as opposed to just using colors. We're going to use the duplicate sprites for our backgrounds for our collision. So we'll go to screen 0 first. Remember, screen 0, when I hit my flag, screen 0 is this first screen that we see. It starts at 0 and ends at 480. So when I duplicate this, it's going to take the script with it. Okay, so this is screen 0 still, and this is the script to forever go to scroll X plus 480 times 0, and Y is 0, so it sits in the middle of the screen. So let me go to screen 11. So notice how it keeps tacking numbers on the end. That's why I want you to do this one at a time, so you don't get confused. So I've had people before duplicate them all, then they get lost where they were. So we'll go to screen 11, and we're going to rename it to screen 0 interact. Okay, that's going to be our screen that we interact with. And what I'm going to do is just take my screen 0 interact, and notice that the script is the same as screen 0. Okay, that hasn't changed because they're going to go right on top of each other. I'm going to go to my costumes, and what I want to do is I want to remove anything that he should not interact with. So on this background, this blue, he should not interact with. This is just the background. He should not interact with the little hill, the bush, or the little hill here. However, he should interact with this question block. So I'm going to go to my paint bucket, and I'm going to use this tool right here. This is for transparency, and transparency means that you can't see it. So when we click on that with the little red line through it, I'm just going to bucket this blue background, and this is solid, so it'll do the whole thing. And notice that the background has a checkerboard effect here. That means it's transparent. Alright, we can't see that. But now if I use the bucket on this, it still leaves the black outline. So we're going to do this a little different way. So I'm going to put that green back in there, and I'm going to go to my square tool, and I'm going to go to solid square, and I'm going to use the color red, because the color red is not used in this project at all right now. So if we use black, what would happen is we'd end up wiping out all the black lines in the middle here. And if we use brown, we'd wipe out all of our brown bottom. So we're going to use red, and then I'm going to just make a square across all that. Okay, and I'm going to pull it down a little bit. And we want to be pretty accurate with this, because this is what he's going to be walking on now. So if we end up going down too far, it's going to make him fall into the earth. So I just can drag it so it touches. Okay, and this goes a lot quicker than it looks. I'm just going slow for you guys right now. Alright, so now we have a solid red square, but we need to get rid of that. So I'm going to go to my bucket and back to the transparency, and I'm going to dump it. So now this screen is what Mario will interact with in our new code. He'll interact with this ground and this question block, and there's nothing else on here. Okay, so let's do that really quickly, just so we can see how it works. Alright, I'm going to run my flag here. Okay, run the program. Now, you can't see, but right now, this screen 0 interact is right here. It's right behind screen 0. And I'll show you because by hiding screen 0. Alright, I'm going to go to my looks, and you don't have to do this, I'm just showing you for example. When I hide screen 0, you'll see, let me get rid of my background here. Let me just clear, let's do that, it'll be quicker. Okay, you'll see that the screen 0 interact is still right here. Okay, so if I go back to screen 0 and I show it, it pops right on there. Okay, but as far as Mario's concerned, when we write our new code, he's only interacting with the interact backgrounds that we cannot see. Okay, everything else here is merely for looks. It's aesthetic. So we're going to take now our screen 1. Let me make this show again. Okay, screen 1. Let me duplicate it. And like I said, we don't want to duplicate these all at the same time. We want to go one at a time so we don't get lost. I'm going to change this, rename it to screen 1 interact. And you can name it whatever you want. I find interact a little bit easier to remember that that's what he's interacting with. So I'll go to my costumes on screen 1 interact. I'll use my bucket and my transparency tool. Take out the whole background. Now, what on this screen needs to be wiped out? Well, these 3 clouds need to be wiped out. This little bush needs to be wiped out, and then that little piece of bush right there needs to be wiped out. So I'll go to square in red. I'll just put a square around that, a square around that, square around that, and then right down here. Now we want to leave the pipe because he jumps on the pipes. Now I'm going to take this and then I'm going to wipe that right out. Okay, but I can't leave those red blocks, so I go back to my bucket. I go back to transparency and then take that out, take that out, take that out, and take that out. So now let me run my code. Okay, and Mario will run. Now remember, he's still interacting with black and brown. We haven't changed our code yet. We're going to do that in a second. But if I go here now, this is screen 1 I'm looking at. It's about right there, screen 1. Okay, let me go to screen 1 and let me hide it. And we're going to show screen 1 interact in the background. Okay, so this is what he's actually interacting with. This, and the pipe and the ground. Remember, this here on screen 1 interact was checkerboard, it's transparency. And that is different than if I did white. If I did white in the background, that would be part of the background. That you can see white, but you can't see transparency. So that is different. Okay, so don't think that you can use white. This right here is not white. This is only that color because my background, my backdrop is white. So if I go to this one, you'll see it turn blue. Okay? So we have screen 0 interact finished, screen 1 interact finished, and I'll do screen 2. And we'll right click, we'll duplicate it. I'll click on it. Okay, we've got screen 11 here. We're going to rename it. Remember, we're going to go one at a time. This is screen 2 interact. Okay, let's make our blue background go away. So I go to transparency and bucket. Okay, let's go to my square and red. And what shouldn't he interact with? That cloud. These pipes are good. So let's make a square over that little bush. Remember, we want to be pretty accurate with this because this is going to be the ground he walks on. And then we want to get rid of that little hill. And if you need to adjust it, you can always use the corners here to pull it over. Okay, we'll go back to transparency. We'll get rid of those. Okay, and let me go back to my screen 1 that I hid. And let me put it back. Okay, good. So now we should see that, and I'll run this with those 3 hidden in a minute. But let's go to Mario now. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to change his repeat until not block, okay, for up, and also his if touching block. Because now we're not going to use colors, because I mean those colors could really appear pretty much anywhere. What we're going to use now is the sprite names. So it's going to be if touching screen interact, screen 0 interact, or touching screen 1 interact, or touching screen 2 interact, or screen 3 interact, all the way to screen 10. So your or statement is going to be pretty long. There's going to be 11 if touchings in there. Same thing with this. Okay, so what I like to do is build it in an area that there's room. So I'll go to edit and small stage layout. That just gives me more room to see my scripts. And then I'll actually zoom out a little bit just so I can see. This is going to be pretty long. Mine's only going to be 3 because I'm only going to code the first 3 blocks for collision. And then what I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll continue and finish it, and then I'll show you the finished product. So what I'm going to do now is take my OR block. And then I'll take another OR block. And another OR block. And then, you guys can keep going and going and going until you have 10 in there. But I'm just going to stop at 3. That way I can grab this and just stick them in there. You guys will have more, and then I'll show you the finished code that has all of them in there. Okay? So I'm going to go if touching screen interact, okay, screen 0 interact, and I can right click here and duplicate that, or touching screen 1 interact, or touching screen 2 interact, and then yours would continue 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 interact. Okay, so we're going to go up here now to our if statement, and we can grab this OR and remove that black or brown. Okay, we don't need that anymore because we're going to be a little bit more defined and a little bit more specific with what he touches. Okay, I'm going to take my OR, remember yours will be longer than mine, and then I'll show you the finished product in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to stick that in there, but I also have to replace this. And instead of having to do this all over again, what I can do, let me remove this. Okay, we need the knot though, we still need the knot in there. What I can do is just right click on this OR. Okay, now let me just show you quickly, because if you look at the way that the OR is, okay, it's raised up here, so if I right click on this and duplicate it, it's only going to take those 2. But if we take the very bottom, and this is the first OR we put in, and duplicate that, it'll take all 3, and for your case there'll be 11. Let me zoom back out. We'll put this in here, and then we'll get out of small stage layout, and when I run my flag, now Mario will not interact with the background. He now runs through the background, no problems. He can land on this. Okay, he can still jump through, we're going to fix that next. And when he still jumps on top, but if you notice, he's no longer climbing on the bushes. Okay, because he's only interacting with, let me run the flag here, let me go to screen 0, and let me hide it. Okay, this is our for looks screen 0. Okay, it's gone now. He's only interacting with screen 0 interact. Okay, same thing goes with screen 1. If we hide it, we can see he's only interacting with screen 1 interact. And then same thing with screen 2. If I hide it, we're only interacting with screen 2 interact. Okay, so let's put these back on. Okay, we made it show. I'm going to make it show again, and then I'm going to make this one show. Run the program, and you will see that Mario now runs pretty good. He's not jumping over those bushes. And I only did 3, so right about now he'll fall, because we haven't done it, and he doesn't know anymore to stay on black or brown. Okay, he has no idea that he should do that anymore, because he's only interacting with the interactive sprites we give him, which is why we stop right there. Okay, so good luck. I'm going to pause this now, and then we'll see what the finished product looks like, and we should be able to run all the way to the end of the level. Okay guys, I'm back. That took about, I don't know, 6-7 minutes. It really wasn't that bad. It looks a lot worse than it is, but let me go to small stage layout. Let me zoom in on my script here. Okay, you'll see if touching screen 0 interact, screen 1 interact, screen 2 interact, screen 3 interact, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and screen 10 interact. Okay, then up should happen, falling should be 0, and we change falling by 1 if we're not touching that. Okay, and same thing up here. Okay, I just duplicated it and stuck it in the knot, and then same thing. So let me go here, run the flag, take Mario for a run. Okay, notice how he doesn't interact with the bushes anymore. He's up and over everything. Okay, I get rid of the ones too. We should get rid of those on the regular screen too. But okay, we're good. We can jump around all the way to the end of the screen. No interacting with bushes, hills, or anything. So go ahead, get at it. Good luck. Have some fun with this, and then next week we'll add our sensors to Mario so that he can't run through things and things don't just jump up and over. It won't do that anymore. Okay, and there we go. That's it. Good luck.